What's good, everybody? It's Amon-Rellik the Godslayer. We're back in more Black Desert. Today, we're going to talk about getting your empire started to make that passive income. Now, as you already know, you've learned how to get your HUD together, and you've learned the important things you need to be keeping your hands on. You know, your advice vows, your crone stones, and your what's those thingies called? And your artisan memories. Another thing you're gonna be collecting is cleaning a lot is your black stones for armor and weapons. Those will be the things that you'll be using to enhancing your weapons, and you're gonna want to use those and just try your best to use those as much as possible to level your stuff as high as possible. But it's going to be certain gear that you're going to want to do that with, depending on where you are in the game. Again, if you're on seasonal servers, you'll be using the Naru gear, and you'll be trying to turn it into tubular. But on basic servers, you'll be wanting to go for, at least for in the beginning, if you can get your hands on some Grunil, that'll just get you started. I've been slacking in terms of gear for this character simply because I've been focusing more on building my little node empire. Now, the node empire is important because it is going to be the definition of your monetary success. Now, this is the map, and as you can see, this map is it's pretty raw in the sense of there's a lot here. Your bluish icons are like your knowledge from your monsters and stuff like that. And up here you can see the different icons, and you can turn them off and on if you need to. Your knowledge, your nodes, your directions, your trade routes. You can basically see all the different trade routes and things of that nature. Transportation as well, because when you transport goods from one store to another, there are actually boats and ships and cargoes that are actually moving up. They're moving about, and they're actually, they're actually moving actual product around. And you can become a part of that by being a trader in this game. Of course, Dark Rift information, that's like boss mobs and stuff. And your barter information for for different shops you can barter at. You can turn on different parts of the map or different states of the map. Like, you can build farms in the game, and if you're doing that, you might want to look at the groundwater information to see the range of the ground water deposits. It's best to, of course, it's best to build your farms on the darker colored ones, the deeper water deposits. It will basically decide how good your crops will cultivate. And you can see those all across the map in those different areas. You can see, of course, the temperature of all the areas on the map, because you can't go into like desert regions in which you'll get heat stroke, or snowier or colder regions in which you can get frostbite. Territorial resources, and basically the overall opinions, or should I say the overall opinions of different nations. Your humidity, node wars. This is basically like guild. Like, when you join a guild, your guild can take over certain areas and pay less taxes and have little perks like that for those areas. And of course, product nodes. These are going to be the main things you're going to be looking at. And if you notice, there's grayish lines and then there's goldish lines. Grayish lines are the ones that you have not connected. Gold lines are the ones you have. You connect them by using contribution points. You gain these contribution points by doing quests, stuff like that, and you'll gather them up. Now, your contribution points are shared amongst all of your characters, but your energy, which you'll see up here in the top left, is per character. And your energy is basically, you use this whenever you're collecting knowledge, and mainly knowledge will be like, for instance, if you go up to an NPC and they've got like a let's say they've got like a, I don't think these have it, but they have like the ability to like have a conversation. You can actually have a conversation and build knowledge of the character, and so you'll know more about that person. I don't know what they're doing. Cooking something though. They're on the road. They're cooking something. But like, you can build knowledge up on that, and then you'll be able to see it down here at the bottom, and your little it'll come up as a head, as like a head, and you can like basically read more about that person. And the more and more you learn about everyone in the world, the more knowledge you build generally about the world itself, and that will add on to your family fame and all that good stuff. So, how does one build passive income outside of the daily rewards? Right? Mind you, all of this on the map, all of your expression on this map, basically everything that you begin to, all your nodes you begin to connect, all this is shared amongst all your characters. So on any character, you can manage your empire from any character. And the way this works is, for instance, we're gonna keep it at the nodes so that we don't confuse ourselves with everything else that's on the map. You're gonna start the game in this area here, right? Your first major city will be Velia. Let's say we need workers, right? Because first thing you need workers. And let's say you want to do this farm right here, Lakia Farm. Lakia Farm specializes in tomato farming and making tomato crates. Basically, taking that farm, that tomato, those tomatoes, and create potatoes, and creating crates out of them. You can then take those crates, and you can, if you want, you can either engage in taking the crates yourself and going to different places and selling them, like a trader, or you can hire a worker by first buying a house at this farm. Now, you would buy a house by going in and picking. Well, this one you can't do it in, but it would be a house, like if you want, it would be one of these houses will be called a lodging, and basically a lodging will allow you to then hire a worker and put that worker here, and you would give that worker beer, which is the cheapest food you can give a worker, and have them start farming for this potatoes. But you would first need to put contribution points from here to another one. So, like, for instance, how I've got 2 contribution points in Bartali. I've got 2 over here in Finto Farm. And the only reason why I have them in the Forest of Plunder is because over here you can gather mushrooms, and it'll help with the amount of mushrooms you get and stuff like that. And putting contribution points into areas that have like monsters or like mobs in them, like Crone Castle, for instance, has a bunch of soldiers you can kill in there. You will probably grind there in your early levels. If you have a bunch of points, contribution points in this area for this node, it would give you would get basically more drops. It will help your drop rate and things of that nature. But in terms of just building a empire resource gathering, you would like need to connect it from the major cities. And like for instance, because of that, uh, I could go ahead and click here, and I want to invest contribution. Now I've invested contribution in this area. Now that I have, let me see if I'm able to do it. Okay, so I can make a crop factory or a fish factory. Or I can make it a storage. If it's got 2 or 3 on the storage, it's usually good to do that, because these storages, when you make houses, or like when you buy houses, make them. If you buy houses, it's going to go to the main storage in that city, because like this storage you're seeing is for this city. And like for instance, I bought this house. This house is a storage. I might make it a lodging if I buy another house. Like this house is a storage and a lodging. It can be any one of these. So if I wanted to buy this as a lodging, I could pick this, and it'll allow me to hire 2 more workers. Or I can make it a storage, and it'll allow me to have 3 to 5 more spaces depending on if I level it up. Like that. And of course you would just do this. You would get contribution points through leveling and things of that nature, and then you would start connecting these nodes, and you would start hiring workers and having them collect, in certain areas where where the resource you need is. That will then allow you to go and do something else, because those resources are being collected and passed while you're on their own while you're doing something. And that's the multitasking of this micromanagement system. And that's what I like about this particular MMO, is the micromanaging in this game is like a whole lot more intense than most MMOs you get into. Because you're literally micromanaging a empire of production. And so let's say, for instance, that's another reason why it's good to have each one of your alts specializing in one thing. So like for instance here, let's say you wanted to be a cook, and here in all these places there's lumbering, gathering, things of that nature. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. You can have it to where, let's go back to our area. You have a character who's stationed in this area, a character that might be stationed out here in Calpheon, another major city, and you can just have them all stationed across the map, but near the places where your workers are gathering the specific resource they need for their crafting, And of course, inventory management is going to be a big thing, because you have in every major city, you have an inventory. In every major city, you have an inventory. It's separate from each city. But again, whenever a worker is in one of these territories, because this city is basically considered, all of this stuff that's near it is considered its territory. So if you've got somebody, like for instance, from Otto Farm, if somebody's here in Otto, which I believe I do have this as lodging, yes I do, and if I have somebody getting the alloy and the cotton from this farm, it's gonna go into the main city's inventory, by which I'll have to come and get it myself, or I can have it shipped. I can actually have it shipped by going to the storage manager here. I'll show you here. I can go to the storage manager here, go to transport, and I can send, let's say I can send something Like for instance, I just sent these here to Calpheon from Calpheon to Terra. I'm gonna receive those. All right, so now that's gonna be in there. It took about an hour to send that though. So I said I want to send these bunch of loose mane hairs somewhere. I could send them to any of the main cities that I've been to that I have storage in for a fee. Pick a wagon. I'll for a fee and then for a time wait. Send it, and I can like ship between storages. You have a warehouse as well, and your warehouse is going to usually be in Velia. That's where their main warehouse is. If I remember correctly, it's going to be in Velia. And I'm not sure if you can get multiple of them. I haven't tried that yet. But in Velia, there will be like an entire warehouse. And you can store if you notice, you can store your money here. Well, this is the current market value of everything in here. The top number is going to be how much money you actually have stored here. I don't have any stored in Velia, but if we go to Heidel, I got almost $1 billion worth of shit in here, but I don't have any money in Heidel. All right, let's keep going. What about Glish? Not much in Glish. Let's go to Kepler. I got 20 million sitting in Kepler right now, and that's actual silver sitting in Kepler. Then I can go over here to the Calpheon. I got 27 million in Calpheon, but I got over $1 billion worth of stuff sitting off in Calpheon. Let's see what other major city we got. We got Altanova. I got 5 million worth of stuff, but I ain't got no store. I ain't got nothing sitting in Altanova. Of course, in Terra, I ain't got much money. I ain't got no money sitting in it. Let's take a look around. See some other places I've been that I've got stuff probably hauled off at. Olivia, ain't got much there. That was the starting area, so I don't have much there. Trent, not much there. That's usually where I have all of my grass and stuff being farmed. Bear, but Bear, I don't think that's I think that's just a race. I think that's just a horse place. And again, there's much more of this map. Much more of the map. So much more of the map. Way more of the map. So again, and I've got 56 I got like 7 or 8 56 characters. But it's like, you can build this node management system up and you can manage it from any character. And again, all of these stuff will go into your family fame, which every time you log into the game, you'll be given millions of dollars that will coincide with how much of that family fame you have. And so again, make sure every one of your alts picks a different life skill to manage and master. That way you can kind of keep things a little bit more organized, because you're going to fill up a lot of inventory space based on the amount of stuff your people are going to be carrying. Because again, you're just going to be feeding these workers and letting them do their thing every time you're playing the game. And they're going to be and these workers are going to be collecting and doing their thing even when you're not in the game. And so that's going to be a thing that way you're going to fill up inventory space over time quickly. So you're going to need to make sure that you have your inventory spaces at least organized so that stuff isn't a jumbled mess like mine's is right now. And then of course you'll take that stuff, you'll either AFK make stuff or you'll make stuff while you're in the game, like that person who was making stuff standing right here. She could have queued like a 2,000 or 3,000 of something, and then started the queue, and then walked off and watched some Netflix or went out to eat, or went to work or something, and her character will be in game crafting on its own like that, and then She could come back home and have all that crafting done. And she could take that, box it up into crates like you saw with the things, and she could like get her horse, get a carriage, and she could ride that horse to that area and sell for millions and millions. Or she could put it on the auction house and sell it to other players for millions and billions. And so like having that on top of the grind, the actual killing of monsters, you'll be killing them at millions and hundreds of a time damn near. And so you'll be making lots of money just from killing mobs. Like a good hour of grind, which the grind itself may seem, you might think, oh wow, that's gonna be a long type of thing, but it's not. Like when you actually look at the way the grind works, because this game again is fighting is like Dynasty Warriors. You can just kill many things at once. A good hour of grinding, that's easily a 1,000 or so mobs. And if you got some drop rate scrolls on, which you'll get tons of from like rewards and stuff like that, and daily rewards, you can pop them scrolls, get to killing, get tons of drops, and then go sell them drops just from that hour for like maybe like 25, maybe 50 million, depending on your luck on those drops. And if you actually happen to like go and do boss runs, like when you get to enough gear score and whatnot to do like boss runs, you can go and fight Dastardly Beg. You can fight Dastardly Beg, and if by the grace of the gods you get a drop, which is called Beg's gloves, they're considered the best gloves in the game. Because like none of the characters have class specific gear. The gear is based around what you're trying to do in terms of 4 main stats: DP or defense points, straight AP or attack points, evasion or accuracy. So it's one of those things where everybody in the game is basically wearing the exact same thing, because the gear isn't class specific. Your weapons are your main weapon, sub weapon, and if you're going the awakening path, your awakening weapon are. But your actual like armor and accessories and stuff, that's going to be across everybody. The only thing that's going to probably be a lot more, the part about the class gearing that's going to be class specific and more customizable by you directly, is going to be when you like put, like as you can see here, it says empty slots. I can use crystals. You can put crystals on that give you different stats and stuff. Same thing for like the weapons. You can put crystals on for the weapons to give you different stats and stuff like that. Or like when you can choose 2 artifacts to wear. These will also be preferenced by what you want in terms of your power. But like everybody will be wearing like technically the same, like these Kaposha rings. People of all the different other classes, even the mage classes, will be wearing Kaposha rings. See what I mean? So at least when it comes to getting the gear or finding the right gear set that's supposed to be for your level or your intended AP or your intended overall power level, which is you got your attack, your awakening, and your DP power levels. When you're trying to get to that certain bracket, it's going to be a specific armor that you're going to hunt for. So it's going to be easy to track that. But like, let's say you got Beg's gloves. You don't need to worry about having the best in slot for your class. You can give them to your alt, or you can take those Beg gloves that you got from the drop from killing monsters, because that's what you like to do, all while your workers are gathering resources for when you start crafting on your other characters and stuff like that. And you can go sell those Beg gloves on the marketplace for like 500 million silver, and it will sell because people would rather buy it for the silver than have to go outside and possibly spend hours getting RNG. So these are the kind of things that I'm saying like before. Like you can end up having. I've got billions of dollars right now. I actually have billions across all of my characters because like my personal bank is 226 million. That's my personal bank. But all of my characters have millions of dollars on them, and I've got my warehouse has like over $1 billion in it. So it's like, and mind you, I play this game. Well, I've been playing this game casually, and to be quite honest, you should play this game casually because if you're trying to play this game hardcore, you're going to find that this game demands a lot from you. And so that's the reason why the motto is this is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time. You're not racing anyone. Everybody's got their own agendas. Some people don't care about getting in-game boss gear and enchanting it all the way to freaking pin. Like, nobody cares. Like, some people care, some people don't. Not everybody cares about that. Some people don't care to grind. Some people truly do love this system. Some people truly do love just managing their nodes and, managing their worker empire and crafting. Some people, just all they want to do in the game. And most of those people are fucking trillion gazillionaires. Because that's all they do is interact with the money systems in this game. Because there's several ways to make money. Or you got some people who, they do care about that gear stuff because they either are into the PvP or they're into the grinding part of it, and that's how they want to make their money. They want to make their money from rare drops and stuff like that because they want to be, have a more high octane of time when they're playing. Or you got hybrids like me who some days I just want to get on, listen to this beautiful jazzy music, and do some crafting and do some inventory management. And make a couple of million, make a couple of 100 million here or there. But then some days I want to get on, I want to go out there and I want to cut some heads off, So for me, I like interacting with all the systems, but then there are certain people who don't. Like you can become a literal sailor and actually get your own ship. You can buy it and upgrade it and do your Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And literally it's like that. You can get on the ship and go out into the sea and you can ride the waves. You can even man cannons and all that good stuff. You can, and so it's like, there's so many ways you can interact with the game's processes and with the game's mechanics. And with the mechanics of making money. There's so many ways to make silver. And the game is dumping it on you on a daily basis on its own. Whether it be through straight up silver or through all the different drops, all the different rewards it gives you that you can take, and in some of them you can actually take them and sell them. You don't have to just hoard them all. But when it comes to the things that will help you enchant your weapons and armor, you do want to keep those if you intend to go down high armor gear paths, because you're gonna want to do that if you ever plan on trying to farm for better stuff. Because again, if we go back to the main menu here, you see how it says right now optimal AP down here is 70, right? In these newer areas, optimize, the optimal AP or basically attack power is 95. Over here you got these low level areas, right? 15, 16. You're gonna get to certain points in this game where the optimal AP, the recommended AP is 280, right? So gear is gonna start mattering if you're gonna want to go and actually grind at these high level areas for those high level and those high those high monetizable rewards. So depending on how you want to interact with the money system will depend on what is necessary for you to progress financially in this game. I want to go into those areas and actually do those things. I love my class. I love fighting with her. So I need to interact with the enchantment system and the gear system to make that happen. And in the next one, we're going to talk about the gear system, and we're going to talk about We're going to talk about the gear system and the combat system together in the next video, because I believe that's going to be the best way to do that. Again, thanks guys for watching. Again, do what you love in this game and be patient. Don't think that because you've got people who've already been playing this game for a couple of years and they're quadrillionaires that you need to rush to do that. There's nothing in this game that's forcing you to chase other people. Because again, this is like a life simulator / micromanaging style MMO. And the life you're living is yours in this game. I'm out.